Welcome back to part number 2 of What If Ahsoka Died on Mortis. Thank you to those of you who watched the first part of this video. To recap what happened if you haven't seen it, Ahsoka could not be revived on Mortis, but due to his memory being eradicated, Anakin continued his search of his padawan, but without any success, as he found himself in mourning, and now seeking to be away from the Jedi Temple. Anakin had not been pursuing Dooku or the Separatists, but had set course for his old home planet of Tatooine. The Jedi Knight landed his ship in the Jundland Wastes, and took the long and grueling walk to the Lars' home. There Anakin knocked on the front entrance, and was met by Beru and Owen Lars, who were confused at his appearance. The Jedi requested to stay at the home for the foreseeable future, in return for his protection, and they guide him to the dying and broken Klieg Lars. The Jedi then ventured outside and knelt to the grave of Shmi, before making one for Ahsoka, and he dwelled upon two people he had not been powerful enough to protect, and began to meditate. Back on Coruscant, and inside of the temple, the usually calm Obi-Wan Kenobi was besieged with concern for Anakin. In spite of this, the Jedi Council dispatched the Jedi Master to rescue Master Peel, as their initial rescue attempt with Master Gallia had not been successful. Along with the 212th Battalion, Obi-Wan manages to find a path through to the prisoners, but as they begin their escape, they hear a lightsaber ignite and turn to face Dooku. Obi-Wan demanded to know what had happened to Anakin, but Dooku and his master were just as oblivious as the Jedi, and they began to duel. Obi-Wan managed to hold off the Sith apprentice for long enough to ensure their escape, and Yoda discusses what to do with the Nexus route coordinates in the Chancellor's office upon their return. Curiously, the Chancellor was more concerned about the location of Anakin, and he suggests diverting the resources to search for the missing Jedi Knight, as Palpatine needed him for his future plans. The Grand Master is hesitant to inform the Chancellor, and feels that both the Jedi and the Separatists were hunting for his services, given what Dooku had told Obi-Wan. In Padme's office, the Senator of Naboo was seated beside Senator Organa of Alderaan, when they received a transmission from Jabba the Hutt on Tatooine. The crime lord had been disturbed to find the Tusken Raiders moving their activity into the settlements and causing chaos amongst his associates, so asked the Jedi to deal with the situation before the civilians were on the receiving end of his increased taxes. Padme had a brainwave and realised that this must be the work of Anakin, and headed to the planet with C-3PO. The Senator heard the roars from the skies, and the spaceport of Mos Eisley was burning to the ground. The flashing blue lightsaber of Anakin Skywalker was in the middle of it all, as he had not been able to resist the action on the battlefield, and had helped to resist the stranglehold of the Hutts. The Jedi ran into the palace, and pointed his lightsaber at the slaver, ordering him to relinquish his throne, but Jabba laughed, before being met with a lightsaber through him. Anakin took pleasure in dissecting the Hutt gangster, and turned to face Padme, as his eyes sizzled in rage. The Jedi was ready to return to the temple, and he left the planet to establish its regime, and landed back on Coruscant. The once famed Jedi warrior was seen as an outcast amongst the Order, but Obi-Wan had never lost hope. Nonetheless, it was a shock to see the change in Anakin, who blamed himself for the loss of Ahsoka, and vowed to become the most powerful Force user in the galaxy. Yoda decides to personally train Anakin, and the Jedi Knight's potential had been fully unleashed, causing worry amongst a lot of their enemies. One who had not been worried about Anakin was Darth Sidious, as the Sith Lord felt Anakin's desire for power, and he would be able to provide it easier than the Jedi. Sidious ordered his apprentice Dooku to draw Anakin out, using a holocron he had recently found, but this was actually a test for them both. The Jedi soon received a mysterious signal from the moon of Obadiah, which Dooku had secretly switched from Sidious's initial location to lure the Jedi to the true meaning behind the clone army. Obi-Wan keeps a close eye on Anakin as they travel to the signal alone, and there they find the lost remains of Jedi Master Sifo Dyas's T-6 shuttle, guiding them to the Pike Syndicate. Anakin's patience is wearing quickly from the lack of battle, but that is solved by the presence of General Grievous and a droid army, whom Sidious had secretly dispatched, sensing the betrayal of Dooku. The first true test for Anakin had begun. That is it for part 2 of What If Ahsoka Died on Mortis. If you'd like to see a part 3 soon, please like this video, turn on that notification bell, click that subscribe button on this channel, as well as on my other channel What If Films. And as always, leave a comment on what if you'd all like to see next, and how I can improve my videos. Thank you all very much for watching, and see you next time.